Hey, nice Atypical Daydream t-shirt.
Thanks. It's my favorite podcast.
Mine too. But where can I get a t-shirt?
It's easy. The link is in the show notes.
That is easy. I'm gonna go get one right now.
That's a great idea.
Thanks. Bye.
You bet. Stay cool.
And so we're on the motorway and I'm like, you have to take the next turn. I have to come off at a junction. We don't even get there. I start peeing myself. I open the car door and I literally vomit. Car's still going. Car hasn't stopped.
Hello, my Atypical Daydreamers. Welcome to the show. My first guest today is singer-songwriter Harry Hudson-Taylor. When meeting your musical heroes, it's always a little surreal, even when they turn out to be exactly as you imagined.
The history of this goes back to my dad. My dad was actually in a band with Sting before the Police. So the Police was Sting's band when he was like, I think 18 or something, maybe 19 when he started. But he was in like a big band, like a brass band, like a big jazz band when he was 14, 15. And it was called the Newcastle Big Band. And my dad was the band lead, like the conductor, kind of keyboard player, trumpet player, and like literally the conductor, right? And Sting, therefore, has been sort of like an adjacent part of my life in a weird way where it's like my dad would just say like, oh, you know, Sting this, Sting that. And you'd be like, all right, yeah, cool, whatever. He got his name actually from someone in that band. Like the name Sting came because he used to go to like a band practice wearing his rugby gear, like his black and yellow Wasps gear or something. And then like some Geordie guy would say, well, yeah, Sting, get over here. You're late, you know, come over here, like the horns section, the bass horns and whatever. You'd be like, get your bass, come over here, you're late. But anyway, that's where he got his name, which is not my story. That's just his story. But so like, there's a couple of points of this story. So first of all, the Police come and they play in Dublin. So that's the first time I actually do meet Sting. I was like, oh wow, okay, yeah. I guess my dad wasn't just talking the talk. So I'm in a room with Sting and Stuart Copeland and Andy Summers, and I met the Police and we got a picture with him and he signed a poster and all this crazy stuff, you know. Fast forward like a few years later, my band, which is what I started with my brother, we start busking on the streets. That's our initial thing. So we were actually doing like covers. We would have been playing all sorts of cover songs. We would have actually played like Police songs as well, just making money on the street. But then we started writing our own songs. 15, 16 years old. What does my dad do without asking us? Oh, I sent your song to Sting. Can I read this? I have an email that Sting sent to me and my brother where he gave us some critique on the song. Sting says, not wishing to be Simon Cowell, if I were to look for a template for the Hudson Boys, it would be a souped up modern day version of the Everly Brothers, fraternal voices in close harmony, minus the personal enmity. They should do a cover of All I Gotta Do Is Dream. Small Talk was the name of the song. It's not a bad beginning. It felt a little long though. Does it have a bridge? I don't remember, and this is important. I should have remembered as I've only listened to it a few minutes ago. If it already has a bridge, then it needs a better one. What is a bridge? And why is it important? Well, it signifies a change in viewpoint, a way out of the song's conundrum. I'm lonely. How do I feel better? The most successful bridges take this change of viewpoint to its next logical step. A key change. You have 8 bars to modulate into something outside of the loop. It should feel liberating, like somebody opened all the windows on a summer's day. Enough. I know absolutely nothing. I'm in Chicago. Good luck. It's all good. Sting. So that's a nice little thing. Very embarrassing because it was like literally the first song that we ever wrote. I wish he just waited for that card, just like pull that card like a few years later, you know, just because it would have been nice for a little social media thing or something. But anyway, okay, we met Sting, got a little feedback on our song. And then like 5 years later, like more time goes by. Now we're signed to a record label. We're in LA. he and Paul Simon are doing this tour. I think it's in 2016 or 17, I can't remember exactly, but headline tour of Sting and Paul Simon together, playing each other's songs. So they're like riffing off each other's songs. Like, me and my brother went to the Soundcheck. So we were standing in the Soundcheck watching Paul Simon and Sting banter on the stage, like just having a laugh at each other, like joking, pulling each other's leg, being like, oh yeah, what about that song of yours? Oh, it's Every Breath You Take or something. Oh, yeah, it's not great, is it? But then the funniest thing happens. Sting's PA like tells Sting like, oh yeah, the boys are here. Andy's sons are here. They come to see you. So we're in the forum and we're standing in the audience in the forum. This empty thing where they're doing the sound check. This whole band. Paul Simon is sound checking a Sting song, and then Sting kind of saunters off the stage and comes towards us. But like as he's walking towards us, he's doing yoga, like as he's walking towards us, like he's like stretching his legs out. He's almost like he's like pirouetting across the floor like a ballerina or like a ballet dancer. And he comes up to us and he goes, well, hey Hudson boys, how are you? And while he's talking to us, he's got his leg at a full like 90-degree angle, like against the barrier, you know? And he's just like leaning, doing his stretches, and he's stretching his arms. And he's doing all these like weird, awkward yoga poses. And he's just like, yeah, you know, how's your dad? How's this? How's that? How's the music going for you? small talk kind of stuff. It's just such a bizarre experience. So I watched the gig, amazing gig. And then, of course, we had like all access passes. So we were like, oh, cool, we'll go to the Backstage place after the show. We went into this tiny little bar and it was just clearly just like friends and family of Paul and Sting. And then me and my brother. And we're just in the corner like, what the hell is this? This is so weird. Super anxious, super nervous. And then like Paul Simon walks in. He's literally my hero. He's my favourite musician of all time. He's the tiniest man ever. He's like 5 foot something. He walks in and me and my brother are like, oh my God, shit. Oh God, what are we going to do? We say hi to him. We're going to say hi to him. Freaking out. And he's going around working the room and we're like, no, play it cool. Let him, he's got to talk to his family. Then we see our opportunity. He has his back to us, but he's at the end of the bar and he's by himself. And we're like, it's now or never, brother. So me and Alfie, my brother, go up to him and we're just like, hey, Paul, how's it going? We're huge fans of you, man. We're from Ireland. And he's like, Ireland? Guys, it's great to see you. And then he just launched straight into an anecdote. He just straight away, and we were like, oh, we're musicians. We love to play your songs. We played like all the old songs from Simon and Garfunkel and stuff. And he was like, wow, you know, let me tell you something, guys. How old are you guys? And I was like, 24 or 5. He's like, wow, yeah. You know, when I was about 20, I wrote a song called The Sound of Silence. I was like, do you know it? And you're like, yeah, I know the song, The Sound of Silence, like one of the most famous songs of all time. Yeah, The Sound of Silence. Like, yeah, you know, I have absolutely no idea where that came from. I have, to this day, I have never been able to write a song like that. I don't think I ever will be able to. It was just a moment in time. I was there. It just came through me. And we were just like, yes, Paul, yes, of course. He's like, you know, guys, just keep doing what you're doing. Keep writing, like we were influenced by all sorts of things, the Everly Brothers. I was like, yeah, the Everly Brothers. Yeah. We said like, yeah, we're kind of like that. We kind of do sort of close harmonies. Somebody's like, oh, that's great to hear. That's great to hear. Well, guys, look, it was really good to meet you. And that was it. I was like, whoa, what the hell? What a weird day. So I have this solo project, Ladybird, Lad, and it's related to just my love of those creatures. I think they're beautiful. We call them ladybirds in the UK and Ireland, but they're called ladybugs in America, obviously. Every culture has like an interesting name for that creature. It's seen as lucky in almost every culture. In Ireland, for example, it's called Boeen Jay, which means God's little cow, which is quite a sweet name, I think. It ended up being the name of my solo project. And after being in a band with my bro for 12, 13 years, I think, it was quite a big deal to try and do something solo. Seraphina helped me along the way and doing a bit of singing and writing songs and stuff like that. And we did the first gig we were ever going to do. was in Mullingar, which is a town in Ireland. I actually went to school there, but we went to do this. It's like a rural town in Ireland. And we took the train from Dublin to Mullingar, which is about 90-minute train with one stop in the middle. And just as we were pulling into the station, like when we've been moving definitely away from any station for at least half an hour, we're sitting in the middle of a train with a table in front of us, and a ladybug, walked out on the table on a train. When I was looking at the set list, I was like written the set list out and it just like walked across the paper. I feel like musician life aids the kind of awareness maybe of like synchronistic events. Like artistic minded people tend to be more thinking about it more, like, but like, you know, ooh, it's a sign kind of vibes, you know. I have a lot of those kind of little moments along the way, dotted along the way, to do with symbology and little creatures and things like that. It's like God saying, hello, I'm there, I'm here, I'm everywhere, I'm you, I'm me. I don't know. You know, it's like a quantum wink.
Hey, it's Josh. Hope you're enjoying the podcast. And if so, are you wanting more road stories? Well, good news. I've got you covered. Consider becoming a patron. You'll have access to loads of great bonus stories that there just wasn't time for. And you'll be supporting a truly independent podcast. Find the link in the show notes. And thanks. Now back to the show. My next guest is another great singer-songwriter, Seraphina Taylor, Harry's partner in crime. Unlike Harry's story, Seraphina reminds us that when things go wrong on tour, they can really go wrong. Like the old adage says, when it rains, it pours.
So we were doing Ladybird Lad in Ireland. We were doing a little tour in Ireland. And there's like a few different aspects about music that some people don't see so much. And there's little things like, if you're with a label, then you can get screwed over by where the label takes their cut. So are the musicians being paid in it? Is the flight cost covered? Are all the little costs that go around touring covered? Because actually, I think it's Kate Nash who's talking a lot about how much touring costs and how just recouping of any stage, whether, even if you're signed, that can be really difficult. And, Harry was doing his solo thing just on his own with no funding. Harry was getting really stressed about the fact that tickets weren't really selling so well and everything was so much more difficult because before in the Hudson-Taylor machine, you don't necessarily get to see how many people are doing something behind the scenes or where the money is coming from or how much money you need. So his ability to kind of suddenly be able to manage what a whole team of people was doing was really overextended. And so he was just quite stressed. We were playing Roisin Dubh, and then I think a friend had given us a place to stay, and we literally got to the place. We were there for about 10 minutes so you could have a shower. And as we were leaving, I'd rented a car and I said, do you have the keys? And he went, yeah, patted his pocket. We go and do the gig. Then there was like a band coming on afterwards for like a different show afterwards. We ended up doing a writing session backstage and I was like riffing lyrics and you were like playing along. It gets to about 2:00 in the morning. We leave, get in the car, and he's like, I don't know where the keys are. I was like, what do you mean? And we're like staying in the middle of nowhere. It's pitch black. He has like 14% battery on his phone. No one's picking up the phone. And so he then had to get the booker to get a hotel in the middle of Galway. And it was like 400 euros, which was like the entire guarantee of the gig. And then because part of my routine is that I don't eat before stage, because no matter how smooth the thing is, I will choke on it when I sing. So I haven't eaten in like 9 hours at this point, and it's like 4 a.m. And so I was like, Harry, I need food. And he gets a pot noodle and a bag of like gummy sweets. And that was like my meal of the day. But then the next day when we were driving back, we had to drive all the way to Dublin airport. And I was feeling very, very not well. And we were in the car and we were on the actual motorway. We're going, and I suddenly start sweating profusely, like uncontrollable sweating. And I'm like, I don't know where this is going, and it just doesn't feel good. And so we're on the motorway and I'm like, you have to take the next turn. I have to come off at a junction. We don't even get there. I start peeing myself in the car because I'm wrenching so hard. And then before we've even come to a stop, I open the car door and I literally vomit across the front of the car, over the side of the car, onto the side of the road. Car's still going. Car hasn't stopped. I'm peeing myself through the effort of retching. And then I just like lean over, haven't even unbuckled myself, just lean over, profusely vomit for like a full minute, unbuckle myself, just in public, pee on the side of the road. He hasn't pulled over. He's still like just rolling. Cars are going like full speed past us. I've got my butt out with like, I can literally see all these Irish people go like, what is happening? Vomit down my front, half naked. And then I like get back in the car and he's like, are you okay? And I'm like, no, I'm not okay. And then we still had to go all the way to Dublin airport, by which point I had completely forgotten that parking is something that I don't necessarily like doing. I like driving, but parking is not my favorite thing to do. So when we got to a very small, I think it was in Galway, a tiny parking garage thing that's like multi-lane thing, to have unnecessary pillars, just making sure that wherever your rental company is, they will get money out of you because you will scrape the side. He'd managed to like scrape the side of the rental car, but I'd been too ill and preoccupied to really take note of that. So there's literally still vomit on the side of the car when we pull into the rental place at Dublin airport. And I'm just like, is there any way to like cover up the scuff on the side? And then I was like, you know what? The car literally has vomit in it, piss on the seat. It's got vomit down the side of the car and a scuff. At this point, I'm like, whatever, we just have to make it to the plane. So we're like literally taking like trash and stuff and like casually trying to wipe chunks of puke off the side of the car and maybe cover up a scuff at the same time as I'm like, ta-da, here's your car back. And then we just got the flight and went home.
I want to thank Harry and Seraphina for sharing their experience. Be sure to check out Seraphina's music project, Feathered Fire. She just released 2 new singles and is midway through production on her new upcoming album. Also, check out Harry's music project, Ladybird Lad. Links in the show notes. This podcast is created and produced by me, Josh Caldwell. Music by Visual Aid, my side music project. General support and copywriting by Miranda Caldwell. And if you know someone who you think might enjoy this show, send them this episode. The support really helps. Thank you for listening, and I hope you come back next time.